All right, so welcome in, Sharpen the Point. It's our Sunday Night Football. It's going to end up being a weird watch along because this first half has sped by so quickly for Sunday Night Football. It's already damn near halftime here, but welcome in, Brian Pella, for recap Week 5 preview for college football. Chris, we did this a good bit last year, and I feel like it's something that we should probably just keep doing because I feel like we've reached this point in the season. So my question here, and I'm going to kind of keep it through much of the show, but what do you think at this point you know? Because throughout that, when the college football season starts, you don't know really much of anything. Like you think, the preseason, I'm sure everyone was saying Arch is good. And here we sit in week 4 and it's like, well, maybe not. What do you think you know as we enter week 5?
Well, one thing I know for certain that I knew before the season started that nobody else knew is DJ Lagway sucks. The whole Florida team sucks. And we're going to see a new coach in Florida. I might think it could be Curt Cignetti. Maybe. I think I know for sure that DeMond Williams is a much better passer than people give him credit for. He's not an athlete. He's not an Lamar Jackson style player. He has those wheels, but his accuracy is somewhat unparalleled. He's everything that everybody thinks John Mateer is, but actually is it. And then I would say the Big 12 is very top heavy. There's some very elite teams, and then there's a bunch of trash on the back end. I would say that's kind of where we're at. Speaking of the Big 12, show favorite and a guy who watches weekly, my good friend Cam Scattaboo with a touchdown and a backflip. I love that man. He's still shaking his head, and now they're talking about it, but I still know it's not concussions. He's a friend of the show. He'll be tuning in tomorrow to catch up on this, though.
He's not watching along live.
Not currently.
Yeah. I think the Florida thing is that the defense isn't bad. The offense is god awful, and I mean, I was watching the CBS college football podcast earlier. Was talking about should he redshirt? Should Lagway just why even play the rest of the season? Like,
is that what Bud Elliott's gone to now?
Him and I think it was is it Fernelli?
Yeah, Tom Fernelli. Tom Fernelli is very smart. Very smart.
Came up on the TikTok feed of the should he redshirt? And I mean, when you talked about it when we talked about it the other week, we talked about this pre LSU was if that team goes downhill at this point in the year, do players just say like, "Hey, bro, just gonna go ahead and keep my year. I think I'm good." Because
if there's anything we've learned as we've kind of grown and gotten bigger, last year there was consistent basis where College Game Day was stealing my shtick the next week after the show came out. Now it would seem that CBS has caught on, and they're going to start talking about the same things that I talk about, which was Lagway and potentially most of this Florida team redshirting or getting out very quickly if they make this Billy Napier move, which is impending, no doubt about it.
My guess is how long until they have a bye here?
I mean, they're just death is what they are on right now.
Hold on, because the stupid schedule gives me TBD.
They're on a bye this week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it could happen this week.
Yeah, they're off on the 27th. Yeah, and then they have Texas A&M back to back after this.
Well, and you got unbeaten Mississippi State as well.
We're going to talk about
I'm not here to say, yeah, but they're there. Georgia, Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening this week. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen today. If it's going to happen, I don't know. I don't know what their whole plan is.
Well, to your point of not knowing things, I thought you were going to ask me who I thought was the Heisman leader right now, and that is equally, I have zero clue. Very similarly to the what do I know? I know Texas Tech's defense is legit, just as I expected, just as they purchased, and they've getting a serious return on their investment. And they have 2 starting caliber quarterbacks. Will Hammond is clearly better than a number 2. There was some debate last year that Hammond should be the starter going forward. They kept Bayron. Bayron's playing at an elite level, sans the injury that knocked him out of this week's game. But that is an elite team that went into Rice-Eccles and dominated a very solid Utah team.
Yeah, they kicked ass. Thoroughly impressive. my friends are just kind of like, we do a pick 'em every week, and they were like, "Man, I really felt Utah at home had this," and I was like, I just really like the way Texas Tech plays. You know, they can score. Like you said, they've got two quarterbacks now that we know that, and the defense is extremely legit. It's a very good football team, and one that can certainly win the Big 12.
Yeah, and
Um,
David Bailey had a big sack in that game too. He had the only sack, but it was a big sack. They managed to really do a great job of hemming in Devin Dampier and not letting him run. And that's the key to defeating this Utah offense is negating Devin Dampier's legs and making him a passer.
Here's one I know. Ahmad Hardy's a man.
I
That guy's a
told you.
beast.
So he was highlighted as my top GPP play for FanDuel last week. I thought he was going to be a monster, and he was great from Missouri. That Missouri team's fun. They were leaky on the back end. I will say Lenore Sellers was hitting open guys all over the field, and it was not Nick Harbor doing it. It was Vondrius Jacobs. And it was kind of surprising. The offense really didn't have to do much other than turn around and hand it off to Hardy and Roberts. They ran for almost 300 yards, though, in this game. And very clearly, that's what I expected the game plan to be. Late in the week, I know on the show, I kind of, when I justified the Hardy play, I kind of said that Missouri's going to out physical them along the line of scrimmage and try to negate Dylan Stewart, negate him off the edge by just simply running down their throat, and they did, and it was an absolute masterclass by Missouri, and they're a force to be reckoned with in this SEC, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they are a great team. The other team, well, yeah, okay, I'll go there next. Oklahoma ends up winning this game against Auburn. I left it more impressed with Auburn than I was with Oklahoma. I think I am not the referee guy. I think refs can be incompetent. I don't think they cheat. I don't think they lie. I don't think they steal. I think they can just be incompetent. And I think this was a bizarre, pure incompetence game from an officiating crew. They let Oklahoma get away with an obvious illegal substitution play that gave OU a free touchdown. Early in the game, I think it was OU's first possession, they ran a screen, and the Auburn DB makes a great play, knocks the ball loose from behind. They scoop and score with it. They review it and call it an incomplete pass, which to me, it was a call stands on the field. Okay, but it is what it is. But then later on the last drive that ends up being the Oklahoma game-winning drive, there's a catch along the sideline where the guy catches it, takes one step, the ball's knocked out of his hands and goes out of bounds. They review that and then give him a catch. And I don't understand how one can be a catch, one can be an overturned catch to incompletion. The other could be incompletion overturned to catch. When to me, one looked like more of a catch and the other looked more incomplete. I giving up 10 sacks and still really having a chance to win and feeling the game was stolen was an impressive feat from Auburn.
Yeah, and I do think we shouldn't discount. Remember that Deion Burke's long catch before the half, where I was bitching to you that that's not pass interference. Like, that was the worst pick play call I've ever seen, because it's not even like he tried to run into him. He ran an out route. He wasn't even looking, really. He just happened to be in the right spot. And yet they called that offensive pass interference. That is not offensive pass interference. That was the least blatant offensive pass interference I've ever seen called, because he wasn't really, he even tried to kind of get out of the way. I thought that was just a really ticky-tack. It was just a bad crew overall.
It was terrible.
One of those awful game plays by them. Now you can't defend the fact that Jackson Arnold, that was an abysmal pocket awareness performance all the way through and through, especially the safety, everything. It's just awful. I mean, he played well throwing the ball. I thought he acquitted himself pretty well as a passer in this game.
Missed two would-be touchdowns to Cam Coleman, who is just unbelievable.
So that was pass interference. So that was a big missed call too. That long chuck play down the middle when he jumps up in the air, levitates like he's Michael Jordan, and is like just got the tongue wagging, and he's up in the air, and then the DB clocks him while he's in midair, and the ball still isn't there yet. So that was a frustrating one. I thought Eric Singleton played very well in this game as a short area target for him. I would have liked to have seen more shots to Coleman, really. I thought Coleman played great.
He was great. He felt like the best
Satania,
player on the field.
it'd be hard because Satania, well, Coleman's the best player on the field every time he steps on the field. Like, there is not a game this season that there is going to be a better wide receiver on the field against him unless they ended up playing Ohio State somehow, because he's probably the second most talented wide receiver all around in the country. That's where I would be with him. He's just a freak. Satania looked great. I was shocked by how good Isaiah Satania looked playing with Mateer here. Very impressed with him. But Oklahoma, they're not going to go very far because that run game is just going to hold them back until they can do it. And Jaden Knott didn't even touch the football.
Yeah, I don't know. Something weird's going on with that. I assume it's some kind of injury or some sort. I don't know. But
I just think he's where he was last year. Remember, we were kind of talking about it last year. He just doesn't look right. And he hasn't looked right since 2 years ago when he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So, or maybe it was the ACC Player of the Year. Whatever it was, I don't think they were in the ACC because that was last year. But yeah, he just has not looked right since he had that monster season a couple years back, and it's just not.
He was first team all Pac-12.
First team all Pac-12, yeah. And that was his kind of coming out party, and he just hasn't looked right since. Did you get to catch any of this Ole Miss game?
2023, he had 15 total touchdowns with a Pac-12 high, 1,300 yards. Yeah, as a sophomore, I guess. Yeah.
How much do you think this Ole Miss Tulane result hurts Tulane going forward as far as their playoff bid?
My friends were arguing over who they thought if you pick the group of 5 team right now, obviously the choice is Memphis.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
but those two teams have to play each other.
They do. But they were like, well, it's clearly down to Memphis and Tulane. And I was like, well, one, it's way too early to narrow that list to that. But two, I mean, how we can throw USF to the side after losing to Miami on the road is beyond me, because I would argue that USF got waxed by a Miami team that is a lot better than the Ole Miss team that just waxed Tulane. I mean, I think Chambliss is great, but I would think Miami is better than Ole Miss is, and Tulane kind of just no-showed that game.
So I'm gonna throw something out there. I'm here for it. I think you can kind of throw Boise out, mainly because they struggled with the Air Force. I wasn't too surprised by that. I kind of saw that coming, and they're a little bit leaky on the back end. I think they probably drop another game. They definitely drop another game because they have Notre Dame coming up too. Now, if they beat Notre Dame, they're right back in the conversation. But if they lose to Notre Dame, then they've lost to USF, lost to Notre Dame. They're kind of out of the picture as far as I'm concerned, until other teams drop to the wayside and they get kind of the Alabama, the G5 legacy thing. I would say it's down to Memphis, USF, Tulane, depending on who wins out on that conference. Could you argue that JMU's loss to Louisville is better than Tulane's rout a loss against Ole Miss? Because JMU was within 7 late in that game and lost by 14.
Yeah, they probably should have covered.
Yeah, and then Ole Miss, this game, it was 45-3.
It was a blowout immediately. It was never close. I mean, yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, I would probably look at a handful of other teams. I think they probably still have somewhat of a chance to be in this picture.
Oh, there's quite a few. I think there's even some MAC teams that if they really look dominant during the schedule, that they have a chance. There's some really good MAC teams right now, but I don't know that they're talented enough they're not going to run the table. The MAC just gets weird late in the year.
It always does. Well, it's the weather starts setting in and things just get real screwy on Thursday nights.
But I mean, if these AAC teams just beat the snot out of each other, and then because there's more teams than just those 3 in the AAC, like UTSA could take somebody down. You got a few teams in there that can knock somebody off and make things really interesting. Memphis got a tough game coming up this week as well. So I would say, that's interesting. Trinidad Chambliss has looked the part. Do you think he could possibly supplant Austin Simmons for the time being?
I think so. I mean, Simmons was not anything impressive the first 2 weeks to make me think he should have just kept the job. Like when he came back, it's automatically his. I think the door was open, and I think Chambliss has played great. I'm not even sure great sells it enough. I feel like he's run the ball exceptionally well. He can hit the deep shots, which is what Lane is trying to do. So, I mean, that's it. If you can give the running threat and hit the deep shots, great. And then he's done that exceptionally.
Yeah, he's been 300 and 100 pretty much every week so far. So I think you're going to see. I think Chambliss is the starter facing LSU next week.
I think
More
so.
on that game in a bit. But Keywan Lacey also pretty the real deal here. This is a very good two-lane run defense against the traditional run game, not necessarily the quarterback run game. We hinted on Memphis. We got to hit on them. Taylon Green. Taylon Green looked very good. He just got touchdown vultured and ripped my
Yeah, that
soul
was
out a little
annoying.
bit.
That sucked.
Omega Blake couldn't seem to connect with him, but they were drawing up some fun stuff on that Arkansas offense. They're going to be interesting, especially facing off with a leaky Notre Dame team that really is going to want to go back and buy them a new defensive coordinator at the end of this season. Sutton Smith and Brandon Lewis, both with over 100 yards rushing. That tells me that Notre Dame's going to have Jeremiah Love pump them for 150, and then Jadarian Price is going to score 4 touchdowns because, that's the way DFS works when you play the top running back in the country. Brandon Lewis did have a very good connection, as expected, as predicted by yours truly, with Cortez Bram, his guy from Nevada, $3,500 with 7 for 102 and 1 value play of the week. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I thought that Memphis looked great. They played the part. They should have lost the game.
Should have definitely lost. Yeah.
In fairness to Arkansas, they should have won that game. But Memphis is not a traditional G5 team. Me personally, Memphis by far and away the favorite. But they're the team with the most talent in the G5 because they've paid to have the most G5 talent. And it's a deep roster. Their backup quarterback, I love, A.J. Hill, true freshman, 6'4". He should be a long-term 4-year starter for those guys. That FedEx money came in handy to secure that kid.
Quickly, because we got to get to next week, and it's a great one. I'm going to do 30 seconds on each at the most. Mike Gundy in Oklahoma State waxed by Tulsa at home. Pretty ugly. I think that one's done.
Yeah, surprised he's not fired yet.
Yeah, that one won't last very long. Oregon looks great. We'll talk more about them in a bit. Indiana, huge surprise for us. We were both backers of Illinois. I actually looked over at the middle of the day and said, I don't think Duke is as good as I thought. And if that's the case, I don't think Illinois is really as good as I thought. But even then, I didn't think there was going to be like a 50-point drubbing.
Yeah, that was that ball got rolling. And did you see them pan to the sideline at one point when he scored to make it 63-10? And Cignetti just had this kind of wry smile on his face, like, "Yep, that just happened."
Yeah, I'm curious what's next for Cignetti because I can't imagine this ends in.
I think Florida comes calling personally. Mendoza, clear upgrade from Curtis Rourke from last year, which we kind of knew that. We were early adopters to Mendoza. I remember that USC game when he first started at Cal, and I got high on him. He's been on the radar ever since. There is some first-round draft buzz around him for good reason. He's very good.
Yeah, great quarterback. Seems like Indiana has it this year. So I think Dez called it on College Game Day, the battle for the 4th Big Ten
the 4th
playoff spot. So
I don't know about that, man. Like, that's discounting USC way too much.
I think it's discounting USC and
Washington. We're going to talk about them in a little bit.
I think Michigan. I think there's a handful of teams that are all in contention.
Michigan. You're really going to put Michigan?
Are you giving Penn State that one of those 3 spots already?
Yeah, I'll give them the top.
You're going to give them one already? You're just going to give it to them? I feel like they got to earn it at some point. We'll see. We'll talk about them in a second.
We're talking about them in a bit. But you're handing one to Michigan.
I'm not handing one to Michigan. I'm just saying
but I'm saying you put them in the conversation. They're not even in the ballpark. They shouldn't even be top 8.
But if we're not going
to take Illinois right now after a 63-10 drubbing over Michigan.
I would too, but I mean, if we're talking about teams that are going to be in the conversation,
I'm just saying Justice Haynes can't keep getting away with these 75-yard touchdown runs every week. It's not
No, I
going to
don't think
keep
so.
happening.
Dabo and Clemson get absolutely stomped by Syracuse, who even had to go to a second string quarterback because of injury to Angeli. Ricky Collins is the fill in there, and
Yep. He's
whoo,
terrible. They're gonna
yeah,
be
man,
they're in the crapper.
yeah,
Angeli,
no, but
though, luckily for them that this happened right now, Angeli now is still gonna have 2 more years of eligibility. He'll have a second full degree from Syracuse at this point by the time he leaves, after he already secured an early degree from Notre Dame. Cade Klubnik is broken, threw the ball 60 times, averaged 6 yards an attempt. That's abysmal. Adam Randall, very good. Very good. Happy with him. Very happy with Bryant Wesco. They're the clear 2 best players on the team. Tyler for Spartanburg is going to be calling in, and I'm looking forward. Can somebody please link that, clip it, and send it to me? I'll be looking forward to seeing what Tyler from Spartanburg has to say. I did enjoy the memes of the bat signal that said Tyler from Spartanburg. That was
and
my favorite.
I also can't let this go without mentioning TCU. They look great, man. Your boy McAllister obviously was a huge hit. The DFS slate breaker, as you called it. Got to give them credit before we get out of here too into the next week.
Yep. TCU is going to be a blast. And I'm going to hit one other team, Arizona State Baylor, game of the day, the game of the night for me. That was a blast to watch. Those 2 offenses were abysmal, and then they hung 28 in the fourth quarter. Sawyer Robertson, Sam Levitt, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, along with Josh Hoover, just going back and forth. Very good run games. Finally, Jordan Tyson. But I thought Baylor really acquitted itself. They're a clear top of the Big 10, Big 12 type team. They deserve to be in the discussion. Without those turnovers, they probably win that game.
For what it's worth, I started this show by saying we are probably going to be a halftime watch along show because we were subbed the 2-minute warning in the Sunday Night Football game. We are 22 minutes in. We are still not to halftime as the Chiefs are still inching their way towards potentially kicking another field goal here, which is just insane. That's just truly insane.
I'll take it because I think Butker was at like 23% ownership in my tournament. So I'm hoping I'll take that.
And quickly, UNLV 4-0?
Yeah, no. I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them.
Florida State, we haven't mentioned them. They've got the Friday night game this upcoming week. They're going to Virginia. They look like a wagon.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we don't, now that we don't have to talk about Florida State, we just decided to ignore them for the most part.
Well, to be fair, we talked about them week 1, right? We talked about them against Bama, and then after that, we were supposed to talk about them against,
Kent State.
Kent State and Eastern Texas A&M?
Something like that.
Directional Texas A&M school, right?
Yeah, I don't even know where they come from, but yeah, I would say I'm looking forward to that game. I have taken a half day from work so that I can be home that night to enjoy that Friday game. Positive side effect: wife's going to be out of town, so then I have the Friday night all to myself to build lineups and just enjoy the heck out of that game. Which is going to be fun. I think they're going to be really harkening back vibes to that 1995-96 game where UVA played them at home on like a Thursday night. So they're really going to be drumming up the 30th-ish anniversary of that one to really grind that back, which will be a blast. That was a Warwick Dunn, Tiki Barber, maybe like Herman Moore game. That was awesome. That was a great game. I remember that game as a kid.
We talked about the game for maybe the 4th bid of the Big 10. How about the game for maybe the 2nd place spot in the Big 12? TCU, Arizona State, also Friday night?
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. I did sprinkle a little on TCU money line already, just because they're coming off of a little less strenuous of a game than Arizona State. Now everybody's going to go and put all the ownership on Friday on Eric McAllister. I'll still probably want to sprinkle some, but I think you get off of him this week and you go to Jordan Dwyer. Yep, just switch it back because Dwyer was getting a ton of targets last week. They just decided, hey, it just the ball fell better for McAllister where it was falling for Dwyer the weeks before. So yeah, I think it's a blast
as well.
It's a blast of a game because Arizona State has a good defense. So that one's going to be fun. That one's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm really looking forward to that game. It's going to be one of the better games of the week, but we have a lot of bangers this week.
Yeah, you mentioned the USC team we just talked about, who should be in contention for this college football playoff spot from the Big Ten. They're heading up to Illinois. That's the big noon kickoff game. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. Early line here is USC -6.5. Well, we talked about it when USC jumped to the Big Ten. Can they go on the road to small town Midwest school? And I don't want to make Champaign sound like it's some tiny place, but they want to play rough, tough. They want to line it up. They want to be powerful. They want to run the ball in your face. Here it is, right? This is USC's test number one in that type of matchup.
Yeah, I already took a little bit of Illinois money line. I think that's one of those sprinkles you need to have some of at plus 188. It's a good play right out the gate. And USC kind of struggled a little bit early in that Northwestern game to kind of get things going, traveling across country. So they've really struggled on their East Coast trips. Jacoby Lane missed the game yesterday. He was kind of fine, then questionable. I would expect that Maeva's good to go with, he looked great yesterday against Michigan State. That was a very late game, so I'm sure a lot of people missed it. I think it ended at 2 a.m. here local.
Super
so,
late,
yeah, I watched the entire thing. I'm a degenerate. I really enjoyed the game, though, and USC's defense was a little leaky. I think you can really buy into this Illinois team bouncing back. They just kind of got steamrolled, and being at home, USC on the travel, they kind of had that tougher game with Michigan State last week.
Yeah.
Maeva's playing great ball, though. And I think those wide receivers on the outside are very talented with Lane and Lemon, so long as Lane is good to go.
We talked a little bit about this Notre Dame heading to Fayetteville game here. It's a noon kick on ABC. Again, this slate is just so strong. Notre Dame here 5.5. I like Arkansas. I don't know. I just love it. I saw it immediately and was just like, yep, I'll take it.
Yeah, I already took it too. Why not? I think if you look at what Texas A&M's offense was able to do, can you definitively tell me that Arkansas's offense is worse than Texas A&M's offense?
No, because it's the exact same thing I was thinking. I really prefer Taylon Green to Marcel Reed. I mean, I know Reed played okay in that game compared to a typical Reed game. He wasn't as spotty as he normally ends up being, but he was still kind of spotty. I prefer Taylon Green, and I see the Notre Dame thing doing the same thing the Clemson stuff did, man, where it's just like, oh, that's a tough loss to take, but it's okay. It's a tough opponent. Oh, that's a tough loss to take, but it's okay because it's a tough opponent. You looked okay against Purdue, but you got the win, so that's what matters, But we've righted the ship. They're going to win 10 in a row now, and it's like,
I don't know. Yeah, I think
seems like something's just not right there.
And we know those Arkansas people are going to show up in full force this week.
Just feels like a really bizarre game for them. Hosting Notre Dame looks so weird on the schedule.
And a place that Notre Dame never goes. So, I don't know, man. I think Arkansas, they're going to score a ton of points in this one. I just don't think they can stop Notre Dame. So I think it's going to be one of those back and forth 44-41 type games where you're going to want Taylon Green. You're going to want Omega Blake and the ancillary weapons for Arkansas. And then you're going to want all the running backs for Notre Dame. You're going to want the wide receiver, Malachi Fields. So it's just one of these things where I don't think there's any defense. This is going to be a Big 12 game, like a old school Big 12 Mahomes style game where they're just scoring left and right, just on the ground instead of through the air for the most part.
Georgia Tech on the road at Wake Forest. Just keep an eye on it. 14.5.
Robbie Ashford, sir. Just not worried.
Georgia Tech's not a big scoring team. It's 14.5. We'll see. I don't know. We'll jump to that 3:30 window here because again, a couple of doozies. LSU is at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 1.5 point favorite here. LSU finally shows signs of life on the offense. Took a bunch of deep shots. They played Southeastern, but they haven't called those deep shots against Louisiana Tech. You saw Chris Hilton take a couple of shots there during the game deep. LSU's right tackle, they had to make a change at halftime. One thing to note here, they make a change to right tackle to the guy who was their backup center, who was their starting center last year. Brian Kelly attempts a 60-yard field goal in the second half. Returned because he missed it short. the right tackle, new starting right tackle, commits a targeting. He's out for the first half against Ole Miss. That'll be a fun one to watch because that right side of the LSU offensive line is already dreadful, and now the starting right tackle is suspended for targeting.
Yeah, that game was so terrible that I just ignored it as much as I could. Caden Durham's still unable to run the football.
He's got a sprained ankle too. He's going for an MRI.
Yeah, so LSU's not going to be able to run the football. Ole Miss's defense blows, but it's like the stoppable force beats the movable object between the Ole Miss defense and the LSU offense. Like, they both just suck, which oddly enough, who would have guessed that two horrible quarterbacks coming into the year are Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. Nussmeier can't do anything on offense right now. It's just the LSU defense is great. The Ole Miss offense is going to make enough plays to score points. I'm worried about this game. I legitimately think Ole Miss should be favored by more than likely. I think it's probably should be Ole Miss minus 3.5.
I think we're doing priors here. I think we're doing priors on why LSU is so close. But I think the other thing is I think the LSU defense is truly one of the 5 best in the country. I think they come at you from a variety of ways. I don't think your quarterback can do the thing where he just gets the edge because this LSU defense has Harold Perkins, which they haven't had in 2 years. And he's in a just go get the quarterback whenever you feel like it kind of role, which the amount of times the quarterback takes 2 steps to his left or right, I just go, that play's over. Like here he comes, it's over. Here comes 7 flying up the screen. I think it's probably lower scoring than I think we'd expect here. It's 55.
I 100% agree. I would take the under because I just don't know that LSU can run or can do much on offense, even against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is leaky. The concern would be the variety of ways that Chambliss can hurt you. So, like, yes, they might be able to hem him in, but he's still going to be able to throw for 300. Like, they've got enough weapons. They got tons of weapons on the outside. So while there's corners that are very good, I trust Lane enough to create offense at various points throughout the game. So if we say this is a race to 20 to win this game, I am much more confident that Lane can get them to 20 than I am Brian Kelly and staff to get them to 20.
Yeah, but I would trust. I mean, I'll leave it here, but I'll trust Nussmeier. It was my argument before that while Nussmeier is playing like garbage, I trust him when the time, like in terms of scoring 40, when the time comes to, hey, we need you to play. There are a few quarterbacks I'm picking to do it over him, but we can leave that there. In terms of other games, I'll sprinkle. 3:30 again. Auburn's on the road at Texas A&M. We talked about Reed being spotty at best. I don't expect this Auburn offensive line to give up 10 sacks, maybe only 8 this week. But even then, I still like Cam Coleman in this offense to find ways to just get enough here. 6.5 feels large. And again, that puts me in a spot where I end up going, money line seems kind of fun.
I would take it again. That's another one. I mean, why not? You only need a hit on 20 or 50% of these and you're making money.
Right. Ohio State's heading to Washington.
I love this game. This might be my favorite game of the day.
The line I've got in front of me is 10, which feels, again, large. I really like Washington a lot.
I've already money line sprinkled this.
Yeah,
because I love Washington. I think this team, I called it in the offseason, this is the most underrated team. And when I did the deep dive before I bet the Heisman odds on DeMond Williams, I was shocked at the film when I watched it because I really, based on all the narrative that I got, it was all, oh, he's electric as a runner. Oh, he's elusive and all these things. And they really, Lamar Jackson painted him to an extent for my money. And then I got to really dive into the film. And one of his first starts one of his only starts was against Oregon on the road. And he was under duress the whole game. He didn't run the ball very well, but he was 17 of 20 against one of the better defenses in the country. He was just efficient, gets the ball out on time. It wasn't a lot of yards, but he didn't turn the ball over, didn't put it in danger. Ohio State lacks a run game right now unless they fully commit to turning to Bo Jackson. appropriate name that he's named Bo Jackson, but he's the best player in
Yeah.
their backfield. It's not close. Denzel Boston is a Dollar General version of Jeremiah Smith. Like the
I gotta say Roma
problem,
Dunze.
no, I'd say yeah, Roma Dunze. He is Roma Dunze. The problem that Washington's going to have, and Jonah Coleman is a changed man. He's got more touchdowns in 3 games than he did all last year, and he's a 1,000-yard runner easy. He's one of the better players in the country at running back. The problem they have is they lack those second, third, and fourth wide receiver options that they used to have for DeMond Williams to throw to. Rashid Williams just not getting it done. Avery Hines-Bright not getting it done. They started a new kid the other day when Rashid Williams was out because now he's out for a while. So like they have, and he didn't even get a catch. I worry about the secondary weapons. That's the only difference. But the defense has played well. Ohio State making this travel. If it rains in that Pacific Northwest, gets a little weird, I think you could see Ohio State really have some problems. And DeMond can really be a difference maker. If DeMond Williams wins this game, he's the Heisman favorite immediately.
Yeah, this is one of those games that we talked about USC having to go to that like kind of totally different environment. Notre Dame going to that totally different environment in Fayetteville. It feels the same for me with Ohio State, and it's weird because like, yeah, Ohio State is a really good football team. It's a powerhouse program. Obviously, coming off a national title, it doesn't really seem like one of those where you just write it off as like that seems like a really weird place for them to be going, but that it's kind of the deal here. You know, I think Washington's a really good football team. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Indiana heads to Iowa. I want to touch on this one. It's on Peacock at the 3:30 kickoff as well. Indiana coming off that blowout win we mentioned before. They're 6.5-point favorites. Any interest in a sprinkle here?
I would take the over.
Oh, a low 49.5 over.
Yeah, I'll take the over in this one. I think Indiana can hit that. Because I don't trust Iowa's defense. They just got, 30-something hung by Rutgers?
Yeah.
Rutgers' offense is explosive. It's underrated, really fun to watch, but their defense sucks. But Iowa's not going to hang very many points. So I guess maybe it would have to take just them. I don't know. I'm going to avoid this game. I'm not actually going to bet it, but I think Indiana, the likelihood is that Indiana just absolutely blows the doors off of them. This line's going up too, by the way.
I will saunter over to you with Tennessee on the road to Mississippi State because you said we're talking Mississippi State later. Tennessee's a 7.5-point favorite on the road in Starkville.
Yeah, I laid this. I dropped it as a sprinkle.
Yeah.
I think they can win this game. I still don't trust Joey Aguilar. I don't care if he hung 40 on Georgia. Stark Vegas is a different animal, man. Like they get them cowbells ringing. It gets dark out, whatever. Like it's gonna get odd in Starkville, man. Something's going down. I like Blake Shapen. I like this offense for Jeff Levy. Defense has played pretty inspired. Weirder things have happened, that's for sure. I think laying this at 265 is very reasonable price to pay.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I'm in the same spot with you. Arizona goes to Iowa State. They're also 6.5-point favorites. Your boy Rocco Beck. Any interest in the unbeaten Wildcats?
No. Never. I knew you were going to bring that one up because you had to just poke the bear. You had to poke the bear.
Bear down.
Listen, no. I hate you right now. No, it's all about the clones, man. Matt Campbell and the Cyclones going to continue unbeaten for a very long time until they run into Texas Tech.
You mentioned Memphis has a tough game. They're going to FIU. Is that the one? FAU? Is that the one you're talking about?
That could be tricky, yeah. I think it can be tricky because of that Kitley offense. Now, granted, FAU did lose to FIU, so they should just go in there, handle their business. But if they have a little flop lag after Arkansas and then aren't paying attention, they can get caught by that team. It is possible. I just don't be sleepy.
FIU did cover the spread against Penn State. Speaking of Penn State, they've got Oregon coming to town this weekend. Game of the weekend, it seems. Penn State, 3.5-point favorite.
Why did that open at 6.5?
It very quickly dropped, right?
Yeah, I'm thankful it did. I caught it and sent it to you and immediately took it.
You're going to be hard pressed to find someone who's just screaming from the rooftops, I don't get Penn State. I don't get it. I didn't get it last year. I don't get it this year. they're a team that schedules tissue soft year after year, beats the tissue soft teams, loses to the good ones, and then finds themselves 10-2 and in the playoff at this point. And I just simply could not care for a team less. I'm happy for Oregon to win this game.
So I think Oregon does win the game, but I think it's because Oregon is actually a very good team, and we didn't give them enough credit coming into the season. When you can go out, purchase the best offensive weapon buy the best offensive weapon on the transfer market and say, okay, thank you. You're not learning our playbook. We're going to make you our 4th-string running back, and we're going to give you 5 carries each game right now in blowouts only. That's where we're at. This roster's deep. It's good. They bought an offensive line. They bought the secondary. I mean, I'm interested to see because Oregon's played a tissue soft schedule too so far. So this is the first test we're going to really get. But I trust Dante Moore as a player more than I trust Drew Aller as a quarterback. That's just where I'm at.
You know how many times Drew Aller in his 2 full seasons plus the 3 games of this year has thrown for 250 yards or more in 2+ seasons as a starter?
I would go with probably 4.
5. He's did it 3 times in 2023, which was first game threw for 325 against West Virginia, 292 in a 42-0 beatdown of Michigan State, and then 295 in a loss to Ole Miss in the bowl game. And then last season, did it against Kent State, put up 309.
And Oregon.
And only 226 against Oregon.
Oh.
391 at USC.
That was the efficiency game against Oregon. They had a very efficient game in that Big 10 championship.
Yeah, he was efficient. Yeah. But since that 391, he's got 148, 146, 220, 222, 244, 127, 226, 127, 171, 135. And then this season, 217, 200, 209.
In all the games they play, this is what Drew Aller has to do. Hang on.
Yeah, but he sucks, man. That's the thing. I just don't think that works in a game where you have to win. You can't ask your quarterback to do nothing all season and then show up at this game and say, hey, bro, got to have you today. It's just, it's the reason this team can't win big games is because they don't have a quarterback who can win the big game.
All right. So knowing what we know now,
which is nothing,
would you rather have Drew Aller as the Penn State starting quarterback or Bo Pribula?
My issue is that if Bo Pribula was at Penn State, he would look exactly the same as Drew Aller. The same way that Christian Hackenberg, the same way that Sean Clifford. The answer is Pribula.
Trace McSorley.
They all look the same because they're not asked to do anything until they absolutely have to, and they can't. And they simply can't.
Oh,
it's the LSU quarterback hell from like 2007 when Jamarcus Russell left for the NFL to Joe Burrow's arrival in 2018. Like just 11 years of, can this guy make one pass? Nope.
Darren, you're not wrong, brother.
Not wrong at all.
He looks so fun. He looks so fun at Missouri.
Looks so good at the Missouri. So good. But yeah, I'm all in on Oregon here, even on the road. I don't care. I don't think Penn State is, if they're asked to do it, I just don't think they are. I don't think if you continually not try to hide your quarterback, it will eventually show up and blow up in your face.
Well, we know Franklin's going to go full clenched butthole. So, oh, by the way, I said I was going to bring this up. Speaking of clenched buttholes, I have a major bone to pick with you, Dabo Sweeney. If Tyler from Spartanburg does not bring up this freaking punt, I will. Dabo, what the hell were you thinking on 4th and 3 down? You've given up a touchdown drive, 2 touchdown drives, and a field goal. And from their 40-yard line, you decide to punt. You idiot. You decide to punt like your defense has been holding up rock solid. And then you proceed to go down 24-7 or 24-3. Like, the fact that you thought a punt from the positive 40 on 4th and 3 with the way your defense has performed up to that point, 3 scoring drives in a row, you deserve to lose. It was the most egregious punt call we're going to see this entire season. It was a forfeiture of a chance to win a game.
Darren, to answer your Homer comment, one of Chris and I's best friends went to Penn State. He's heading up to the game this week. He texted me earlier and said, just put a monster amount of money on Oregon money line because it's a win-win, and I know more than anything, we do not have a shot.
And he's as big of a homer as I know
Chris
of
loves
any
his
team.
team.
He still thinks Christian Hackenberg is going to be the #1 pick in the draft.
Oh, come on. I don't think he's that naive. He hates more of Penn State's quarterbacks than even we do.
He loves Christian Hackenberg.
Well, it was back in the day. It was a long time ago. I defended Jordan Jefferson once, so I mean. Alabama is heading to Georgia. This is a 3.5 points favorite spread here. Georgia favor on the road. I'm stunned. I'll lay the 3 points all day.
I'll still sprinkle it again, man. I think Ty Simpson's playing some great ball. If Joey Aguilar can throw a 40 bomb up, I think Kalen DeBoer, who's a better coach than Josh Heupel, and then Ty Simpson, who's a better quarterback than Joey Aguilar. And then you throw in the fact that, I don't know, you've got Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, and Isaiah Horton, which each are all better than any wide receiver that Tennessee has. And I'll go Bama.
Wow. I go the other way. I think them on the road. I think Georgia on the road at Tennessee was a different game. I think them at home is a much different feel. I like them a lot.
I told you, I'm paying for dogs right now, man. I'm taking all the dogs.
But that's the thing is when I open the show with, what do you know? And the answer is we really don't know much because it's college football and teams can change. Teams can get better. You can see an offensive lineman who's going to matter a lot getting suspended for the first half of the game on a field goal targeting call. These games can change drastically. So to see 6-7 point dogs at home, it feels like you should take them. And I don't think that's a wrong play at all.
Well, look at last week.
Not betting advice. Don't take my advice. I'm not here to bet. Don't sue me. I'm not betting on anything. Bet whatever you want. Don't bet me. Disclaimer,
the only thing you should follow is my daily fantasy advice because we know that is highly accurate and worth every second to pay attention to.
But can fail. Follow at your own risk. Disclaimer.
Yeah, whatever. I'm the guy who lock buttoned Eric McAllister, who broke the slate at 33% ownership. And
I'm not arguing. I'm protecting you from lawyers.
That's because 20% of that ownership came from my lineups in that tournament. But yeah, what I would say is that Alabama, I think, is coming on strong. They're getting better. I think there are holes in this Georgia team. Do I think it's going to be a great game? Yes. I would just prefer to take the plus money side on all these things. If Maryland can be an underdog somehow to Wisconsin, I laid it there. Like, give me the plus money on a lot of these, and I'll take me being 50% right rather than me having to be 65, 70% right in order to take profit and run. We did skip Louisville at Pitt. I think that is one of the more crucial ACC games this week. No doubt about it. I need to see the status of Desmond Reed. We have not seen Louisville's not humming on all cylinders. They've been kind of playing around. No Isaac Brown, really, so to speak of. I think he had 3 carries last week. Duke Watson hadn't been playing very much. Chris Bell kind of missing. They haven't really been putting it together. I would also sprinkle Pitt as a home dog. I think Eli Holstein, I believe Des Reed will be back healthy now. He was a little bit banged up in that one game, but that was just because I was playing him in DFS that week heavily. So now he's healthy. Now that I probably won't end up playing him.
It's a home dog week. It is just find a home dog and hammer it as best you can. That seems to be the play. Well, not one. Just keep finding more of them. That seems to be
Colorado at home plus 184 to BYU. I like that as well.
You know what? I thought about bringing it up, and I thought you were going to just laugh in my face.
I actually thought Caden Salter played really well last night. I got a 4 TV setup, so I was watching every game I could yesterday, and that one was one that I actually ended up watching for a good bit because I was shocked at how well they looked against Wyoming.
Like if I so much as bring this up, he's gonna be like, "Really? Come on! I mean, dude, Colorado. I mean, what are we talking about?"
I actually thought it was a pretty fair one. Yeah, I actually think that's fair. I think Colorado's a very live dog in that game at 184.
All right. I think that's pretty much it, man. I think it was a clean 50 minutes and a fun hustle. Darren, as always, man, I really appreciate you hanging out with us. And I know you've got episodes on episodes on episodes all week that people need to be paying attention to,
Yep.
Chris. I've
Yep.
been using it to set my lineups. I keep trying to like slightly tweak things to be a little different, and every time it just seems to be one note off, which is great. I feel like I picked the right guy to be off of, and then this week I was definitely picked the wrong guy by being off of McAllister. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll hope that I've been doing really well at picking the guy that everybody in the fantasy community is complaining about not delivering. And I decide I'm going all in on them. And then they deliver. Josh Cameron did it. Then it was Eric McAllister this week. So I got to find that guy this week. And hopefully Travis Kelce scores a touchdown here soon, because literally I have Tyquan Thornton. I have Butker. I have Scatterboo. I have all the touchdowns in this game, and I just need a Kelce touchdown, and I might be really cooking some money here.
Tyquan got the touchdown?
Yeah.
Great news. We're cashing then. Woo! Oh, I had Graham Gano. That's a real brutal one. That's
yep. That's a bad one.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Sorry,
That's
boys.
fun.
Yep, I'll be live from Tuesday all the way to Saturday, and we'll be probably 9:30 Central. Yeah, dude, we did an hour and a half show on Saturday live before lock. I will be good to go to answer a lot of questions for that, because since I'll have that most of the Friday night available, I'll be able to do that, and maybe I'll offer to give somebody $1,000 if I win the tournament. Except for I was right, and I wanted to play Shalik Knotts, and my buddy Jay Whitty over here wanted to play Jaron Kanak, and then Knotts proceeded to go 3 for 80 and 2 touchdowns. But all good, all in fun. Maybe somebody else will get a shot at $1,000 Venmo to them this week.
Darren, I'd expect nothing different, man.
I don't.
That's what makes college football fun.
I'd be more than happy for me to be wrong and you to be right, buddy. All right, guys. I will see y'all on Tuesday with first looks, and we'll be live all week, recapping everything. Thank you for Brian for hosting, and he'll be back next Sunday to recap LSU's hopeful victory over the Ole Miss Rebels and the Oregon Ducks, defeating once again the James Franklin team that cannot get over the hump. Goodbye.